Is 7 your lucky number? Yeah, mine neither. But we are in luck because during week 7, we're going to learn a lot and we have our final project report due. That doesn't sound like luck. There's a lot of hard work that you've already put into that project, but now you get to see the end result, and that can be very satisfying. Remember, as you finalize your report, it's written for top management, so make sure that you're concise and that you're clear. Also, make sure you review and follow very closely the assignment instructions. We've also given you an example that you can look at. And personally, I look forward to reading your report. I followed you along this journey throughout our time together, so I'm going to get some satisfaction out of seeing that final report as well. So all the best on that. I know you'll do well based upon what I've seen already this term. Let's talk about some of our readings. Gregory Hall released a study in 2012 that studied the teaching or how to teach public relations to students with a Confucian cultural background. I like this study because if you're like me, you may not know a lot about different cultures, especially a Confucian culture, so it causes us to think outside of our normal comfort zone. One of the quotes that you'll find in the study is that they employed the Confucian cultural background as an analytical framework. Now, this is a good example. You're going to want to do the same thing as a qualitative researcher because you have to be flexible to account for the diverse qualities of different participants, whether you're doing a focus group or interviews. Now, turning to our text, we read 2 chapters, or we'll read 2 chapters this week, chapters 10 and 12, starting with chapter 10 from Kruger and Casey. Our authors offer us a little bit of a caution. They say, assuming that race or ethnicity is the primary distinguishing factor, it may cause you to overlook other critical factors such as income, education, age, gender, culture, or even language. Remember, each person in a focus group or each person you interview really only speaks for him or herself. No one person speaks on behalf of any group of people, so don't expect that one person can tell you what is appropriate or offensive, tasteful, or even wise. People speak from their own personal experiences and values, and of course these vary widely. So the best advice that Kruger and Casey offer, and I agree completely, is to seek multiple views before you make any type of conclusion. All right, moving on to chapter 12 from Kruger and Casey, we find that there's sometimes a challenge in creating an environment where employees of an organization or any members within an organization willingly open up and honestly share their concerns, anxieties, or suggestions. So this is good advice because especially if you're or interviewing within one organization, especially think about a workplace, you need to be sensitive to that, and you may have to help the participants overcome that natural resistance to want to share too much within their own organization. All right, our other reading this week is from Dr. Jane, who released a study in 2014 about cultivating relationships with tourists. And here's what I want you to do. Before you read that, think back to your last vacation. Are you in that tourist frame of mind? As you do that, hopefully this study will have a little bit more meaning. Now, as a tourist, you don't see yourself as a researcher, but you are. You're researching a lot before, during, and even after that vacation. So find that vacation, enjoy yourself as a tourist, and enjoy what you learn about that reading. Ask yourself some questions. What lessons about qualitative research can you apply to your own study or future studies? Are there any public relations findings that you can learn to help in your own strategic communication? For example, I noted that Dr. Jane used a multidisciplinary approach in the literature review. That was helpful for this review, and it's often helpful, especially depending upon, or it depends upon the type of study you're doing, the purpose of the study, but oftentimes you'll want to look outside just one singular discipline. I also noted that the focus group and interviews were conducted in a semi-structured manner, This allows flexibility in asking follow-up questions. Hopefully you did the same thing and you find that helpful. And for your future research, you'll want to maintain that flexibility. It's a key ingredient for good qualitative research. Well, that's week 7. Hard to believe we're already here. But the same principles still apply. My advice has always been the same. Stay ahead with all assignments. Stay engaged in the discussion board. And enjoy this time of learning.